Welcome, guys, to my Love Island All-Stars Season 2, Week 1. And yes, guys, you're going to be very, very confused because we are going by Peacock TV's Week 1. So that is UK's episodes Monday through Friday of Love Island All-Stars Season 2. So we're here to recap, review, and chat the first 5 episodes of All Stars, and I'm excited to have with me to chat Chantel of Reality Realness.
Hello. It's nice to get back into the Love Island swing of things. I do think that All Stars is like a nice alternative to. I don't like the winter season, so I like this better than the winter seasons. And so far it's better than last year's, in my opinion. I'm enjoying it more. I feel like I'm not as annoyed with everybody. And so I'm looking forward to it. Getting into the swing of covering the show. So happy to be here.
And with me also is Miss T Joy. How are you, Miss T Joy?
Ladies. I'm excited. I'm not as seasoned as you are with this, but I'm so some people I know, some people I don't, but I'm enjoying it all the same, getting to know them and the dynamics and all of that stuff. So I'm liking it. I'm not annoyed with anyone either. Well, I got annoyed in situations.
Actually, a couple people I'm annoyed with, but you were annoyed like we were with like Georgia and Toby and like all that, right?
Yes, that was painful. Yeah.
And I haven't seen all the seasons. So I've not seen seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've only seen every episode after that of both UK and US. And then I've only seen like 1 or 2 seasons of Australia and a couple of episodes here and there of some of the other seasons. So you are not the only one who hasn't seen. There's some of these people I'm sitting.
Oh
no.
We lost Mika. I don't know. So, okay, coming into it, who did you know, would you say?
I only knew I knew Cass from the challenge. I didn't know her from Love Island. I knew her from the challenge. Of course, I knew Catherine. And I knew
Ekin-Su.
I knew Curtis, and I knew Ekin-Su.
Curtis
was on Games. He was on Love Island Games, I think. Was Gabby on Love Island Games or no?
Gabby was on the challenge, though. That's why he's on the
challenge. Apparently, Curtis was also on the challenge, and I did not know. So
he's on the challenge Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one. Yeah, so I didn't recognize him from that. I recognized him from the game. So those are kind of the people I knew.
So we do have a few people in the chat who want to say hi. Hi, Ricky says, hi guys. I'm enjoying this season more than last season. I agree to episode 5. Yes. Hi, Debu. Welcome, Debu. Debu says, really? I thought last season was better. Really?
Georgia is so exhausting.
No. I think this season has started better than last season.
It was the 2 Georgias. It was the
no.
That was exhausting. No.
Yeah, it was. Ricky says, personally enjoying the mix of people more. I agree. I feel like they could mix it up a little more. A lot more. But it's starting to feel a little snowflakeish. But I'm just saying, I'm looking right now. Last year we didn't even have this much.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that I might be liking about this season is that people are a little bit older. What, Marcel? 39?
Yeah,
like 36.
I do like that. That's what I've been commenting on. I said I don't know if it's that we're having a skewed older cast, but I do kind of like the vibes. So most of the women are about maybe 29 and over.
Yeah, because they're like, Luca, I don't know if I want Luca. He's so young. Because that's the thing now. Like, he's young. It's not like, if somebody's too old, it's like, I don't know, because he's young. I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of the vibe that's going on now. Everybody's like, I want a man. Because this is their second or third time around. They're not trying to play no games. They don't want no young boy.
Well, and
Yeah.
also we're always saying that we want the age casting to start at 25. So
Right.
Luca only being 25 now on his second season, I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, like right. I really think that it should be an older vibe, because what are these kids doing trying to
Right.
get into these long-term relationships? Like, I know it's the fame and the clout and all that stuff, and people don't think that they want to see older people get in relationships, but maybe 25 plus. I think they need to kind of stick with that.
Yeah.
20-year-olds going on this show, I'm always like, they're too young.
Yeah. I mean, like we've seen in some respects, like I mean, it's kind of worked out, but even like if you take the Molly May and the Tommy Fury of it all, they were very young when they came on the show, right?
They
Like
were both 19 or 19.
they were both 19. And so now we see that they're like engaged and have a child, but they're having issues, right? Like things evolve, things happen, you gain fame, blah, 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 blah. You grow up. And so, and take it from me, I met my ex-husband when we were in middle school. And then we got together at 18. Then we had our daughter at 21. We got married at 26. Had 2 more children. By the time we were 38, we grew apart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it happens. But I know people personally who, same thing, got together when we were around 18 or whatever, still together, happily married, lots of kids. It just depends on the person, right? But I feel like for this show, it can be a hardship and a detriment when you don't know yourself, right? And the person I was at 18 when my ex-husband and I got together is not the person I am headed towards 45 right now. So, it is what it is. We have Dreadful Ruby here. Hi, Dreadful Ruby. Hello, beautiful trio. Welcome. Yeah, so while Ricky says Marcel being married with a child on Love Island is crazy, I don't think it's that crazy. A lot of people seem very upset about it. I personally don't, especially knowing the story that, his ex-wife cheated on him. And that's the only reason why he and her aren't together, really, it seems like. So, what are you going to do? Life happens. Stuff like that happens. So, I mean, as long as he is out of it, it sounds like he has filed for divorce. The press pack I got, they said that he was divorced. And when he came on the show, he said he's divorcing. So I was like, okay, sounds like paperwork was filed. And he did elaborate that. We see later on in a few episodes that he did elaborate. The paperwork is in. He's co-parenting. As long as you are out of that situation whole, I don't see an issue with this, especially in his age. Rachel is here. Welcome.
Hi, Rachel. Right.
Dreadful Ruby says divorce is messy and can take a long time. I don't think it's fair to expect him to not date in the meantime. Once the divorce is started, relationship is over. I would be hesitant as a woman, though. And I agree. And I will say this. I was separated for 2 years. In the meantime, my ex-husband filed for divorce. I did date. I don't know about him, but I did date. But that was my process, right? Like I needed to date for me. But I knew I knew once we were divorcing, paperwork was in, he's out of the house. I'm never going back to that person. Right? Because I wouldn't do that to my kids. I wouldn't go that far. And we even hear from Marcel. He says like he thought about staying, but eventually he was just like, okay, no, I can't stay. I have to leave this situation. And divorce was filed. I personally would be a hypocrite if I thought there was something wrong with it. Rachel says Marcel needs to let his paperwork ink dry before being on Love Island All-Stars. This is what I'm going to say. I kind of understand him, though, because we also find out that he has not dated since even the separation, according to him. So this is an icebreaker for this man. And I personally think it actually kind of makes sense. Like, if you're going to go and put yourself out there, why not, A, make money, B, like, this is the best way to test waters. You're just focusing on that. You're learning about yourself. and you're doing it in an environment that doesn't necessarily harm your child in your everyday life. But that's my opinion. You guys can give yours.
Well, I definitely agree with that. You know, I always look at when things come into your life as an opportunity, right? And so I'm sure that he, from what he said, he had tried to work through the issues with his marriage. It didn't work. They filed for divorce and they're in the process of, and he hadn't been dating. And then a producer approaches him out of the blue, like what, 6 years after he was on the show, and said, "Hey, are you single? Are you able to come on the show?" And he's probably like, "I'm getting a divorce right now. And like, I didn't think that there was like a relationship on my horizon. How am I going to say no to this opportunity?" I just wouldn't be able to say no to this opportunity if it came to me, because I would be thinking that it was a gift. I would be thinking it was an opportunity to change my life. I would think that what would be the benefit of me saying no to this be, other than like, I just feel like it was just an opportunity that came at a time where he could accept it. And you don't really want to let opportunities like this, especially in media, pass you by. He was, he's in the blazing squad when he was a kid, so he has an idea how you can have a lot of fame when you're younger and then it can just disappear. And so an opportunity came, and I think that he just seized the moment because it was right in front of him. I would do the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see a problem at all. I think that's a good way to like dip your foot back in, get your toes wet. I mean, because you can start out casual and you can get there, right? You can always make the decision that you get there, you're sharing a bed with somebody, you're doing all these things, you're playing these games, you're kissing, you're doing this, and you might say, "Ooh, I'm not ready for this. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and excuse myself." Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could be like, "Oh, okay, let me just go back home. I need some more healing. I'm not ready for this." You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying.
Right. I think it's a good way to just see, how it feels to just be out there and what attention you like. Has your love language changed? Are you getting turned on by just seeing a pretty face and a nice dress, or do you like more? You need more personality now, or whatever your thing is. So I think it's good. I don't see anything. I mean, it's not like he is not told them. Everybody knows. Like, it is a known fact. He's not hiding anything from you. He's in the middle of a divorce. He has a child. So if you like him, it's at your own risk. And if you couple up with them and get it, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also have Ari. Welcome, Ari. And Jessica. Jessica, if that is something that happened today, we are not covering yesterday and today's episode. We're only covering Monday through Friday. So, Dreadful Ruby says, "Yay!" A lot of people commented about how the cast already knows each other, meeting casually at events and having an acquaintance like friendship is so much more different than time spent on Love Island. And this is also a good point about also dipping your toe back into a romantic relationship after being out of the game for a while. You're also being on Love Island surrounded by people who who can encourage you, who can support you and kind of work you through like things. And you're also mirroring and watching other people and like, okay, don't do that. Okay, do that. Oh, all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, figuring out what works, especially now. And I will say this as somebody who, I again told you, I was with somebody from the time I was 18 years old to the time I was 38. The reason why I decided to date before the ink was dry was because, again, I knew myself better, but I never dated. I literally was with the person that I was with for my entire life. Right? So I needed to see how that worked for me. That was my process. It is a lot. And even still, like, even now, 5-6 years later, it's still a lot. It's a total different landscape to date, than 98 to now. Like crazy. So no problem, Jessica. I'm just letting you know because we're not going to get to cover that episode today. So yeah. So let's get started so we can try to get through some of this. So we do see on episode 1, Hi, CJ. CJ says, do you remember a guy that was married with a child on the way that came on Love Island season 3? He was into Olivia first. Yes, that was Love Island USA. No, Love Island USA season 3. That was, oh God, the guy who had a child and a baby on the way. And then he came on for Olivia and then ended up with Trina, and then they both got eliminated. Oh God, what is his name? I think it's with an A. CJ
I do
says,
remember that. Hi,
Was he
CJ.
Latino?
yes, he was from Brazil. Andre, yes. Rachel says it's Andre, yes. So yeah. And in that case, I think he had already been on another reality show in Brazil, and then they like got him to come on USA, and then he ended up coming off the show, getting back with his wife, because there was no divorce in play, like no paperwork filed, and then they had their child, and now they're still together, right? So that, I think that's a bit of a different thing than what we're seeing here, right? There was also no cheating involved. Personally, huh? Yeah.
On his part, but yeah.
Yeah, on his part. I do feel like that's a different situation, because in that case, he probably just came on the show for the money.
Yeah, and maybe
And I
fame.
mean, yeah, and fame. Yeah. So let's get started. Episode 1, we see Curtis and Catherine walk into the villa, and they join Maya. And Curtis does, because a lot of people are also talking about this, because they're like, Curtis is coming back. We saw him on games. As we said, he's been on the challenge. But people are like, but he's been in a relationship since then. Come to find out, Curtis is single 4 months. And we do hear them chat, and they seem to have a few commonalities. My whole thing is, I'm listening to them chat, and I'm like, look, Curtis likes black women in theory, not in actual action.
That's what I'm saying. Remember, he liked Justine in games, but he never was like making a move. Like, he does like them in theory. He likes them in theory. You're right.
He did the same thing on his season. On season 5, he liked Jordan, and I mean, gorgeous girl, who wouldn't? But again, he did not go with her. He went back to Amy, and then he pursued Mora. So I think he does just like the thought of a black woman. I have not seen him actually put in any work for that.
Right.
In general, there's something for me just about his interaction with women. Like, I just don't believe him. So like he just gives me maybe an asexual vibe. Like, not to, just like, I just don't feel the connection with anybody.
It's dancing. I don't know.
Well, like, there's some dancers that I find that they still, to me, exude sexuality. Like, we got like the Derek Hoffs and Mark Ballas. Like, both of them are great dancers, and I feel like they exude, like, when they're pursuing a woman, like, I feel it. And so there's just something for me about him that I just don't believe any of his pursuits in any of the women. I just don't feel it or see it. I don't know.
Jessica agrees with my description. I'm watching this. I'm like, they're having such a great conversation. They're fighting. Maya's like,
that's what I thought.
And I was like, yeah, I don't believe him. I just don't. I can't. Sorry. Jennifer Ruby says, Curtis is okay, but more on Ekin in his life. Yeah, we'll get to that one. People are shocked. But next we see Gabby and Ronnie. So Gabby was from season 2 or 3?
I have a problem.
I think her and Marcel said they want season 2.
Okay, yeah, I think it was 2. And then Ronnie is from season 11, the most recent season. He was coupled up with Harriet. We do hear him say right now, him and Harriet aren't together. He's back because he wants something serious. I said, that means I don't believe you. I watched you an entire season. Rachel says that, yes, Gabby was in season 3 with Ken. Then we have India from season 5 and Nas from season 6. So India, we know, was coupled up with Ovi. And she was the last bombshell to come in season 5. Beautiful girl. She's 34.
She is
Oh,
beautiful.
India. Gorgeous girl. She's a model. She was coupled up with Ovi. They came off of the show. We find out that Ovi apparently had his team break up with her through press release. I was shocked.
Maybe it wasn't that serious. I don't know. He's an Aquarius, you know.
It's Aquarius season.
Go
Shout
ahead, Tony, take it first.
Shout out to Danita. Aquarius season.
We're here to be non-reactive and no feelings.
Was Kaz? I think Kaz is an Aquarius too, right? I think.
Kaz? I don't
Yeah.
remember. Let's see.
Yeah, one of them is. I think it's Kaz. So Nas, we know, unless you don't. He's from season 6. He was coupled up with Shanaz in season 6. Then Demi came in. He was coupled up with her. Then he went to Casa and he found Eva. Coupled up with Eva, left Demi. The world loved Demi for some reason. And we saw Demi on last season, Allstars. And he was subsequently dumped with Eva because he dumped Demi. We then see that he, just like the other 2 boys who coupled up with other women during Casa season 6, stayed with his Casa person for like the longest time. So him and Eva stayed together for like 4 years. Molly and Callum stayed together for about the same amount of time. We know Mike and Priscilla stayed together about a year or 2 after. And I mean, they were together through COVID. So, I mean, pretty strong relationships that came out of season 6, even with those few Casa people. Shanaz was together with her Luke T for a while, but they're since not together. Season 6, a lot of people don't like that season, but it was my favorite because there was a lot of couples that actually came out of that season.
So Kaz, her birthday was yesterday, and some years it's Aquarius. So it's very much on the cusp. Usually it's the 20th that starts Aquarius, but this year it started sometime yesterday. So it would just depend, but likely she's a Capricorn.
Okay, because she calls herself an Aquarius. So
so if she calls herself an Aquarius, then maybe the time of birth and time, like where she was, yeah. But
yeah,
she's 19th, which is, you know.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then we see Kaz and Scott arrive together. They know each other. I felt a bit of a vibe. Did you guys see a bit of a vibe with Kaz and Scott?
I feel like Kaz was giving vibes with everybody. I
Yes.
think that she was being really receptive and like just like she was just being very open, and so I think that that's probably why you're seeing a vibe.
Yeah.
And I find Scott in general is not that much of a vibe, like, you know what I mean? But I think that she was bringing something out of him. But
yeah,
it might just be Kaz.
We do know about Kaz. So Kaz again was on the challenge. She had a bit. What I know of Kaz, I think she's again season 3, right, or 4?
Isn't she? I would say 4 over 3. Hold on, let me think what happened. She was with Georgia, like Georgia's season. She stole Georgia's man.
So then 4, I think that would be. And then she with Kaz, because Scott is season 2. Kaz, all I know from her is like the allegations that were in the Sun. I don't know much. Yeah,
the allegations about what?
Allegations that she was, in found in a hotel room in Dubai.
Dubai.
Yeah, and she was jailed for a little bit for.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Dreadful Ruby, Rachel says Kaz is season 4, and Dreadful Ruby points out that she is a 2-time challenge champ. Scott, on the other hand, we know he is a sober. He's working on his sobriety. He is 36, so I believe he is like the second oldest, Marcel being the oldest at, he just turned 40 because he is a Capricorn. And he basically is the first time he's really like also putting himself out there after getting his life together. Since being on the show, it's been a ride for him. Then we see, everybody getting to know each other. In the meantime, we have our villains walk into the villa. We have Olivia, season 9, and Luca, season 8. Can't stand either of them. If you watched my cast assessment on Patreon, you know how much I stated that I couldn't stand them, and I hope the public put them together so we could dump them.
I mean,
Okay, so give me the backstory on Olivia. Give me the backstory.
Well, Olivia was her mom isn't a famous actress in the UK. I think she's a soap actress or something. Okay. You could just tell she was a producer pet, right? So she was there to stir the pot, kind of like the Ekin, because Ekin season was the year prior.
Okay.
So we think that she was put on there to be the Ekin. She was the winter season after, and she just didn't play Ekin well. She was off-putting. She was nasty. She was borderline microaggressive. Did I say borderline? She was microaggressive, borderline racist. She was not fun to watch, and she took all the air out of the season. And then she coupled up with Kai, and you could tell she did not like that man. So then they go off to Casa, and she finds somebody else. Maxwell, wonderful guy. He's also mixed race, just like Kai. And then Kai goes to Casa, and he meets Sanam. Wonderful girl. She is South Asian and Trinidadian, I believe. They come back, and she's mad at Kai for finding somebody else while she's standing there finding somebody else, because she again was trying to bring season 8 energy. Season 8, Dami in India, that historic fire pit scene that we had of the back and forth. And she tried to emulate it, and it did not work, because we all knew you did not like that man. And then what ultimately happened was Kai then wins the show with Sanam. And we see here, she says she hasn't dated anybody since her season. She was not a nice person. And even online, she watches the show. Just some of the comments she makes about some of the black contestants that have been on the show. She was in a whole back and forth with Diamante from last season, because like it was
over the Candyman.
Yes.
I mean, sorry, over it. Like, what about the Candyman?
Like, how dare she say what she said? And but she has all the smoke for black contestants. Ari agrees.
And so she goes for the black men, but then like the black women.
As most of those microaggressive borderline racists usually do.
Well, and I think that she's, in this case, going for, it's just the safe option, right? So she can go around and do whatever she wants, and has an idea that they will be a safe option for them to be able to fall back on if things don't work out, in my opinion, just from how the Brits or the UK,
yeah.
It is.
So then we see Luca. Luca was season 8 with Ekin-Su, Dami, and India. Tasha and Andrew, who we found out just broke up. Oh my god, that was horrible. And
lasted longer than I thought they would.
Fair, same. And he was with Gemma. She's also very famous. Her dad's famous. She's also a horseback riding equestrian person. Yeah. Nepo baby. And he as well hasn't dated since his Love Island experience, which not shocking at all.
He's another one that doesn't give off like a vibe. Like,
no, he doesn't. No, he
like,
doesn't at all.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. So villains, the both of them. So last to arrive, of course, is Marcel and Elma, because we do know that Gabby was coupled up with Marcel, left the show. They came in what, fourth?
They got to the finale, the third or
Yeah.
fourth, yeah.
And beloved by the public.
I love them together.
Yeah, came off the show, and then they were together for a while. Then apparently we find out during this that he and her went on a holiday, and he slept with somebody while they were on holiday in the same hotel.
And that's why he getting a divorce. That thing came back, didn't it?
Karma.
That thing came back. It came back
Karma.
with a vengeance. It waited till your heart was invested, you married and got a child, and then she cheats on you. That karma, it don't always come right back, but it come back.
Right. So Marcel and Gabby, again, they say their exes, they say they don't blood, but I'm looking at them and I'm like, there's bad blood. But the girls have to hand a red flag to what boy they thought was a red flag based on what they know about them coming in, and explain their reasoning. So Elma gives hers to Marcel because cheated on Gabby. He tries to explain, kind of upsets Gabby more than she was upset knowing he walked in. Olivia gives hers to Ronnie because she says that he messaged her while he was with Harriet. We also find out off the show that Olivia took the iconic Harriet and Ronnie photo of them coming out of the villa, and he's holding her hand and they're walking into a restaurant, and plastered her face over Harriet's face with her and Ronnie. And sent it to Ronnie.
Okay.
And Ronnie must have sent it to some of his Love Island friends. That is sick in the head.
Well, and that, like, was that their first interaction, and then he like messaged her back, and that's him sliding into her DMs? Like, is that?
That's what somebody was saying. Like, she's trying to make it seem like it was him going after her thing. She was just as involved in whatever situation. They didn't say if they know who approached him first, but she was just as involved. Jessica says stalker vibes. Absolutely, because my whole thing is y'all came off the same show, you know the same people, you're in the same circles. That is weird.
That's very weird.
Ari says these backstories of Islanders are crazy hearing about that. They are. So then we see Gabby, of course, gives hers to Marcel because, he cheated. Cass gives hers to Scott because he has had no relationship in 10 years. And then we see Catherine gives hers to Luca because he hasn't been in anything serious. And based on the conversations he was saying, he's just been like hanging with his boys and their girls and women. And she's like,
so you pass the guys test. And if my guys don't, how immature is that? Sir,
and she's like, so you've just been outside. And he's like, well, so, and she's like, but you've not been in anything serious. She's like, so you just, what? He's like, well, I'm not sleeping with all of them. She's like, I didn't say that. I was like, thank you, Catherine. I love you. And
did you notice when he was like, what? Like how he like was so taken aback? I thought that it gave me a bit of a microaggression vibe.
It was absolutely.
How dare this black woman?
How dare this black woman? Like, what do you know?
That's what I got from it too.
That's what I got from it too. India gives hers to Luca as well because, again, she is 34 and he is 25. She says he is too young for her, and he's too into his boys.
Mm-hmm.
Fair, all fair in my opinion, no matter what Luca said. And then he threw the flag. I'm like, get him out of here. Why would you do this to me? Maya announces they don't get to couple up with each other because it's not down to their own. It's down to the public. And then leaves saying she'll be back that night. The men and women split up. They discuss each other and their red flags. We do see Ronnie pulls Olivia. What did you think about this conversation with Olivia and Ronnie?
Wait, tell what was the direction? Who started it?
Ronnie pulled, and he basically was just like, oh, I just want to make sure that we're good. Like, you know, you gave me the red flag, obviously. And she's like, well, I'm saying you messaged me when you were with Harriet. He's like, well, you don't know what the situation was between me and her at that point. So you're making assumptions that we were like still in something when the messaging was happening. And if you knew I was with her, why are you making it seem like you weren't just as entertained in this situation?
And she didn't want to get into a lot of detail because she didn't want her stuff to be on Front Street, right? Like she was, I could tell she was hiding something at that point when they were having a conversation because Ronnie looked real confused, like, wait a minute, didn't you know? I mean, what are you talking about?
I think that Olivia is always doing it for the plot. So I think she wants to have a main storyline. I think that, you know, she knows that it was probably nothing nefarious actually was going on on his end. You know, he might have been like maybe they hadn't made the announcement publicly that they weren't together anymore. That's probably why he was like, okay, let's just like maybe have something on the down low if you want to go for a date. If he did say that. But like, I feel as though she's making it this like more secretive, nefarious thing in order for her to have a bigger storyline. Like I feel like it's calculated.
That's what I got from it. I said, I'm telling you right now, I do not care about Olivia's storyline with Ronnie. Because again, we went through this with Ronnie and Jess and Harriet, and it was not fun. Olivia and Jess aren't going to draw me to care about a storyline like this, right? Especially Harriet wasn't even there, so you're fighting with a ghost at this point. Please. Please. So then we see the rest of the Islanders tour the villa, and we do see Marcel and Gabby chat. And at this point, sorry, Gabby kind of confronts him. She's like, I know we said that it is all good, but you really hurt me. You told the person that we were in a showmance, like it was just a showmance, but I was in love with you. You hurt me to the point where it's been hard for me to move on. And I do like that in this conversation, Marcel softens, he opens up, he becomes vulnerable, and he does genuinely apologize to Gabby. Because I think before that he was trying to like just kind of put up a front, but he does genuinely apologize. He's like, you know, kind of like, I get it, and I'm sorry that I did that to you. We weren't good, but I agree with you. I should not have done that to you at that point.
And another point that she was making is like, well, I don't know if she makes it here or another time when their relationship is brought up, but the fact that if, you know, things aren't good and we're just doing it for the showmance of it all and just, you know, the Gabby and Marcel, like, let me know that that's where I stand with you, because I'm thinking that we're still trying to work towards our relationship being better. And yeah, maybe it wasn't great, but I didn't think of it as we shouldn't be together. And so like I felt bad for Gabby because I think that she really, really loved Marcel, and I think actually she still does.
In a way, yeah, it felt like, yeah.
Because she didn't break up with him because she stopped loving him. She broke it off because she felt that she had to.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a disrespect. I mean, you disrespected me in a way I can't get past.
Yeah.
I mean, we at the same hotel.
Yes.
No.
Even we see here, like the girls are asking her like who she's into, and she's like, well, I mean, she's like Ronnie, Gabby, Ronnie, Marcel, and she's like, she's still attracted to him, right?
He's looking good. I think he looks good this season. He dresses the best out of anyone. He has a vibe. Like everybody else is so boring. I find. I feel like he just has an energy. He's interesting to be around. Like he has, and they know each other pretty well. Like a year is a long time to be dating someone, and having 3 of those months be every day together in a villa, sharing a very unique experience. Like they are definitely bonded in a way that, you know, all the other contestants can't really compare with. And so it sucks that he did that to their relationship, but this could also be one of the reasons why it came back an opportunity for him to heal this so that he won't have to go through another divorce and, another situation like that in order to be absolving the wrongs that he did to Gabby. So maybe this is his opportunity to clear
This
his
is his
karma.
karmic opportunity, absolutely. And we do see then they kind of separate, and then we see them go, walking through the dressing room, and then they kind of talk about what happened to him in his marriage, and she does say, yeah, no, you didn't deserve that, right? And so I
teared up, guys. I teared up a little bit.
Yeah,
when he's tearing up, I'm tearing up. I was like,
I thought it was great. Like I think for both of them, they both needed, like Chantel's saying, that thing that's in the universe that needs to just like work its way through just so you can go forth and be whole is what is like what you need. Kind of like I don't know if you guys know, like Justine from Love Island USA season 2, like they had a reunion and she had a conversation with that guy, and so he who shall not say his name. No, don't say his name. And for her it was cathartic. She talked about it on a blog that she did on YouTube, and she said, she didn't realize how much she needed that conversation to completely kind of just move forward. It's not like, she needed that conversation to live life, but it does help her to move forward. And Ari agrees with you, Chantel. She feels like she still has feelings for her. And I mean, fair. I could see it. So we do see that everyone gets ready for the night. The boys discuss who they would go for. Scott says India has always been just a friend, and he doubts it will go further than that. And I was like, okay, we'll see. But I had put them together in my matchups for the couplings. We see Curtis said that he would go for Kaz, India, and Kat. And I was like, okay, so Kaz and India. And then Ronnie. No, and I do like that he said he would go for Kat. I'm just saying that again.
Right.
I did like a live reaction. That's why I don't have any notes to remind me of some of these situations. And so I just remember thinking that exact same thing. I'm like, were you forced to say that? And like it happens again. And we're like, when Tina chooses,
he does say it again. Yeah. Like, I mean, he said it twice. That's the only reason why I'm like, I don't know if he was forced to say it because you say it once, but then maybe you don't say it again because you were first to say it the second time, right? But yes, then I think Tina's was actually a diversity situation. Ronnie says he'll see. He's like, I think I'm in trouble, so he's like, he'll see. And then the boys are talking. They're like, oh, Curtis is like, go over there. Let's go chat to them. And they won't get up. So Curtis actually gets up and goes over. And listen, we say a lot about Curtis, but he's the only man who had the balls to get up. And there's some older men there that get up and go talk to the women on the other side. And then once he did that,
it's called Love Island. What are you here for if you're not going to talk to the women? That was so stupid to me. Like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. It's so crazy.
So then once he did that, they do kind of split up. So some of the girls come over and Kaz and Curtis go and chat, and Ron and Alma chat. And I liked Ronnie and Alma's vibe in this conversation on the beanbags.
I thought she was another Harriet. I was like, I could see that's who we go for. She looked similar to Harriet. I'm like, that's
right. Got a vibe. Like
I was like, that's his type. Yeah.
They were joking around. I definitely felt that, she was putting up and dealing with his sarcasm and his banter. Like, I thought that they worked at that point.
Yeah. So I had matched up Curtis and Catherine.
This is your matchup or what you thought the audience was going to
do? Both. So based on vibes and based on what I thought the audience would do, I had matched up Naz and Kaz.
Oh, really? I was like, Catherine and Naz 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
No, I wasn't sure if they would match up Curtis with Catherine or Naz with Catherine.
Curtis was my second choice for her, but my first was like Naz for sure.
Yeah. And then Scott and India, Alma and Ronnie, Marcel and Gabby because history, and Olivia with Luca. And we do find out once Maya arrives that the public vote is that Kaz is paired with Curtis.
No,
India,
that's because they were on the challenge together. So
which is what information I didn't realize until after I started watching the show and found out, okay, yeah, they were on the challenge together. Which it kind of talked about, but kind of not. I wonder if it's one of those situations where they're not allowed to talk about it because it's not like a show that's on that platform. So that, they kind of talked about knowing each other in that respect. And then India, I coupled up with Scott. Catherine was coupled up with Naz. Olivia was given to Luca, Elma with Ronnie, and Gabby with Marcel. And Gabby and Marcel are just like, and I was just like, you should, like, you had to have known. You had
There's no way in hell. I was like, maybe they would give Marcel to somebody else, you know what I mean? Just because he has a little bit of clout and like he's kind of famous. Maybe, but like no, they're gonna put them together.
They're going to put them together. And so I only got 2 wrong, but they actually swapped, so I got almost
I only got 2 right, which was
okay.
All the black people.
So we see, and which I had heard, rumor was our day 1 bomb was going to be none other than Ekin-Su, winner of season 8. And so she does walk in. What did you think of her outfit? There was
I really liked it. Okay. There's some really
no, a lot of people hated it.
I mean,
I loved it.
It's kind of like carnival vibes, you know, like all the jewels.
For what she was coming to do, right? And so Maya does tell her that in 24 hours she gets to steal 1 boy, but right now she gets to pick 3 to take to the new secret garden, and she gets to choose right then and there. And so we pick up in episode 2. Ekin picks. Who did you think she was going to pick? Because she picked everybody I thought she was going to pick.
She picked everybody I thought she was going to pick.
I thought she was going to pick Scott. I thought she was going to pick. I didn't know. I thought Scott and who else did I think? I don't know. I knew she was going to pick Scott. I just knew she was going to pick Scott.
I thought Scott, Ronnie, and Curtis.
Right. I was thinking Curtis could have swapped out maybe for Marcel, because with that whole fame thing, because like anybody that was more famous, I was thinking sometimes it could be appealing to Islanders. So I wasn't sure. Curtis would have been maybe Marcel, but those were my 3 with Marcel as a backup.
Yeah. And so the girls do hug Ekin, but she heads off to the garden with the boys. They pop champagne, and we see Elma is already freaking out, a la like a Harriet. Because she really liked Ronnie, and she was happy that they got put together. And this is my problem with the public vote thing. You can stop momentum with this public vote. And we saw it in season 8, where they picked the couples, and it literally for about 2 weeks stopped game progress, right? India and Dami were clearly into each other, but were so afraid to move because the public had put them with their friends, and so they're building these friendships with these other 2 people, but they also don't want to like put them out, but also you're going against what the public is saying they want from you, right? They want you with this person. What does that mean for you? So it was a bit of a frustrating thing to watch that season.
Yeah, with the public vote too, it's just kind of like it always showcases the issue with diversity and racism in the UK. It just brings it right out, and like I don't like that, obviously. Like I want to see people, like, who do they actually want to be with? Catherine doesn't necessarily want to be matched up with Nas specifically, you know what I mean, just because they are both minorities. And so it just annoys me that like now they're stuck in a couple, likely because of how they cast, nobody is going to break them up as a couple. And then if they get to dump people, they're going to probably dump them as a couple before they really get an opportunity to meet somebody. So
yeah, and that's what we saw with season 8. The very first two people that got dumped were Ikenna and Amber. Ekin comes in, Jay comes in, and Davide comes in. But the first two people that get dumped are the two other black people, because Amber did not like Dami, and India and Ikenna were really good friends at that point. And there was nothing there, and it was very clear that India and Dami liked each other, right? So that's what happened. So it does feel very, very unfair. But here we do see that Ekin asks Scott, Curtis, and Ronnie what they were looking for in life. And they give her some answers. But Ekin asks what she's looking for. She's like, I'm just looking for the right person. She's like, I need the right person to come in, because while yes, I could be intimidating, if the right person is with me, I will make him the boss and I will allow him to lead. And Scott marvels at how confident she is. And Curtis asks her where she sees herself in 5 years, and she's like, married with kids. And she asks him the same thing. He's like, same. We do kind of go out, and the girls are saying they don't know what to do with themselves, so they go sneak off and start eavesdropping on the conversation, which I thought was cute and very fun. And then we do hear Scott, though, say, well, I think it's possible that we're a bit of a mismatch because we're both very high energy. And she asks, well, if they're happy in their couples, and they all kind of give a variety answer of yes, but we only hear Curtis and Ronnie kind of say, well, they're still open, right? They're not stuck in their couples. But Scott is giving off the vibe that he is like with India, but it's like crazy because isn't like the episode prior, he's like, him and India have been friends for a long time, and he doesn't see himself moving past that, but he's using her as the shield of the reason why
He just doesn't want Ekin-Su.
He did not want Ekin-Su. He was so intimidated.
So he was using that, but he really sees India still as a friend, but he was trying to use this as a shield because he didn't want to get picked by Ekin-Su. He wasn't feeling that vibe. Once he got there talking to her, he like, oh, she just pretty, but I don't like, we not gonna match. I don't like this.
So Curtis, I'm just looking up, he's also an Aquarius. So Aquarius and then
Curtis too. That's the other one.
Leo. So sometimes they don't work, but like they're opposites. So fire and air will always work better than other combinations. So okay, this makes a little more sense as to why they're seemingly compatible. Yeah.
I just was so marveled at Scott just like pushing, like, stay away, hey, Ekin-Su. And we do see that Curtis does tell, they come out, and then Curtis does tell Kaz that Ekin does have a lot of what he's looking for in a woman, too. I will be fair. Of all three, the conversations and the energies, Curtis and her had the best energy.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, okay, Scott is a Leo. What a cowardly Leo.
No, it's not that he's a cowardly Leo. He does not want, he's one of those who doesn't want the shine to be taken off of him.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm getting from him. He wants somebody who will be, here while he's here.
Absolutely.
Well, him and Katie, though, maybe it's like, maybe he's just traumatized from Katie because Katie ran the show. So
yeah, who can blame him? It's the same thing where I also don't think he was trying to go for Kaz for very similar reasons. Whereas Kaz, I feel like, was constantly throwing out the, like, come hither to Scott. I think between the sobriety questions,
right,
and also the high energy, look at me, I'm gorgeous and I'm here. I, again, think he was pushing Kaz away and using India as cover. Absolutely. So the girls chat then with Ekin, and she says she knows what she wants and she just needs to figure out what it is, and then she's going to go for it. And they're just like all very, very like, oh my gosh, okay. They love her energy, but some of them are just kind of worried she's going to be going after their guy. Mostly everybody, though, is absolutely sure she was going after Scott. Were you also sure that she was going after Scott at this point?
No.
I thought it was between Scott and Curtis. I did think it was between Scott and Curtis.
Correct. I believe it was between the two of them, and I was leaning towards Curtis because just the way that I don't think she liked the way that Scott was kind of like wasn't able to go toe to toe with her. Like he was just like retreating. I don't think she found that attractive.
Yeah.
I feel like the way that he answered a question, she immediately got the ick. And so like yes, it was between those two just because they're the manliest, we'll say, the older two out of the people that she was speaking to. But yeah, I was leaning more towards Curtis.
Yeah. So I personally felt at this point that it was between any one of the three. It wasn't until after the second set of conversations in the morning that I was like, oh yeah, I think everybody thinks it's going to be Scott, but I think it's going to be between Curtis and Ronnie, actually, because her and Ronnie did seem to have a vibe here, but also he was starting to be like, no, I really like Elma. And I think she really likes Elma. So then I didn't think she would choose Ronnie. But everybody's telling India basically she should be worried because they think she's after Scott. But Scott is telling everybody else he doesn't think she's his vibe. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think he doesn't want her. We do see Olivia and Luca chat, and he says here that he's happy that they're coupled up, and she says she's happy that they were chosen for each other. I actually believed her here, and I don't like this girl, but I actually believe that she likes Luca.
Because he's like very young and so she can manipulate him? Like what? Like I don't know.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh, okay, but we do hear that apparently they live around the corner from each other. So maybe she thought that would ease into a nice little thing. I don't know. You never know with Olivia. India and Scott chat and about how to break from being friends because they have been friends for such a long time. And while they're so similar in age, right? Like he's 36 and she's 34. It's been a very long time to try to then develop a romantic relationship when you've been friends for such a long time. But they said they're both interested in allowing it to happen. We see Elma and Ronnie chat about their connection and Ekin, but they're both very happy with each other. So Elma is like, okay, so I'm not as worried. Right. We do see Naz and Catherine chat, and he marvels that he and Curtis got no red flags. And Catherine wants to know first, like, well, why did you and Eva break up? And he said, well, they just grew apart. And she said, well, she thinks that him and Curtis got no red flags because they both have been in pretty steady relationships recently. Because my thing is, Curtis, we know, cheated on Maura. So that's also like, he has red flags. But he has been in more steadier relationships in the back end of recently. So she thinks that is why that they didn't get red flags. Marcel and Gabby chat and they reconcile fully. And I said at this point, I said, listen, I'm going to say this. I like Gabby and Marcel. They took this very, very well because they could have been complaining. They could have been trying to fall back into with each other. But they really just talked it out and said they understood and they got to a good place. They reconciled and they're like, we're it's over. Like we're good. So everybody gets ready for the night, and the girls tell India that the boys all said that Scott was giving the most. And I was like, that's not what I got. What are y'all talking about?
They were trying to take the heat off of themselves.
I know too, because what are you talking about? That's not what happened.
I think maybe it's because they were. He was worried that she might choose him, and so maybe it's just it's so absolve guilt to a certain extent.
So the next morning, we do see Kaz invites Ekin to bed with her and Curtis, and I was like, ooh, foreshadowing. Curtis makes Kaz a coffee though, and everybody's like so excited. You got the first coffee, and Gabby does say that it's hard not to fall back in with Marcel, but she's not going to do it, and the girls encourage her not to. And she's like, I'm going to, make it loud and proud that I'm going to get to know other boys. Me and Marcel are done and move forward. And I was very proud of her because I'm going to tell you, after episode 1, I was a little worried.
I mean, I'm still a little worried.
Okay.
Only because I feel as though Olivia, well, okay, spoiler alert, it's going to be Olivia and Marcel at some point, but I feel like Olivia is going to jump from that ship and Marcel is going to be on his own, and Gabby then will also be on her own, and just like they might just fall back into a couple together, you know what I mean? And then, sharing a bed again, they might just get closer this time. Like, I don't know. So it's a possibility, but
hey, we're going to be on the watch for that one then. So the girls do talk and they're like, well, other than who you're coupled up with or who you're coupled up with, what do you like? And India says she likes Scott and Luca. And I was like, girl, you gave him a red flag for a reason. What, Luca? India, please. No. Can we do this? Gabby says though she likes Luca as well. I mean, she's a little closer to Luca's age. I believe she's 30 or 32, right?
32.
Okay.
7 years is a lot.
Still 7 years, and she's like, but he's young, and she says she likes Ronnie. So we do see Ekin at this point pulls Ronnie. And that's where I saw they had a really good chat. This chat, I feel like he was a lot more comfortable. I still wasn't seeing like this super huge vibe, but I thought it was better than their first conversation. Mm-hmm. It was a better one-on-one. And then she takes Curtis to the terrace, and I was like, ooh, this is it. Like she says he's a good listener. He gives good eye contact. She says most of her boyfriends look like Curtis. And he's just like really just like talking to her with confidence. Cause I was worried. This is the reason why at first I was like, Curtis is out. I was worried that Curtis was going to be the one intimidated by Ekin-Su. Because sometimes Curtis does do that. But Curtis was never intimidated by Ekin-Su. He treated her like Ekin-Su. Period. And so that is the conversation we were getting here. Two people getting to know each other, no fuss in it. And you could tell Ekin really was drawn to
the confidence.
There was so much confidence in it, and which is what I thought was never actually going to happen with Curtis. So Ekin pulls Scott again, and he says he feels they're too similar. She also says that they're similar, but she's like, "Hello, life is short, and it does not matter. Go for what you want." And she doesn't think it's an issue, but he seems to.
But so, he doesn't want you, baby. That's why he's not going for it.
Yeah. So they do get ready for the night, and Curtis brings Ekin a coffee. She tells him thank you. And everybody goes and chats into different groups. And Ekin says it's surprising who can be intimidated by you as a person. And she gets a text. And it's over to you, Ekin-Su. Ekin says this man she's choosing is the man she felt most understood by. And it was more than what they were just saying to her. And she chooses Curtis and shocks the entire villa. And you can see Kaz. Kaz's face is upset.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I get being upset. I feel that Kaz thought that her and Curtis could just be a backup couple. Like, I don't know if I saw romance with the two of them, but I think that she wanted to stick in a, friendship couple with him for as long as possible. And so her being vulnerable, I think, is more so what she was upset by because of the fact that she didn't have her partner anymore. So yeah. I don't feel like she was like, oh my god, this is the love
No,
of
I
my life.
I think she wants Scott. I think she wants Scott, but I don't think that he's giving her any energy.
I think she wants
Scott's not good at
too.
giving energy.
Yeah, no.
It's a story with him.
So we do see another bombshell arrives, and it's Casey season 9. Stop trying to make season 9 and season 11 your worst 2 seasons happen. Stop.
Like, I can't.
I don't know
Casey.
him, but when I saw him, it was immediately an ick for me. Like I immediately was like, I don't like him.
He was on All Stars too. He was on All Stars too the last season. It's like, why are you back? He's Tom's best friend who won season 1. I didn't like either of them on season 9. They're terrible. He's another one who uses black women. He likes black women in theory, not in actual action and fruition. I can't stand this man. And then we find out he's been with this person and that person and this person and that person.
I did love the energy though that Kaz was giving him. I was like, Kaz, get him, like eat him up.
He's chatting and he's telling them, oh, I'm a lover boy, and they're like, well, what's your type? Kaz says, Love Island girls. And he's like, what are you talking about? No, not Love Island girls. She's like, the Georgia thing was just like one thing. She's like, well, I've been hearing things. And he's like, I've met you once. What could you have possibly? She's like, I'm not telling you. She's like, I've been hearing things. Not just Georgia. Yes, Georgia's my closest friend, but there are other people who've told me stuff about you. And she says in her ITM, he is a player. She's like, Cassie is not good. And I agree with her. Now, to be fair, last season, the conversation that we saw with Georgia Harrison and him, and I was like, okay, I get why he doesn't like Georgia Harrison. She was a bit of a weirdo with him because she was like, went to a medium or something and said that she heard his like grandfather or something.
I never want to give that extra information without permission, especially with something that's it's always weird using someone's past relatives in order to kind of get with somebody romantically. Like it's kind of like a no. It's a big ick. But he did treat her shitty. Like it's a kind of a pattern that he sleeps with these women and then sees them out on the town and then completely ignores them and goes and hangs out with another group of women. When the next girl comes in, she said he did the exact same thing to her. So
and I said, and you're mad at Kaz for giving you smoke. So in the next episode 3, we see them continue the argument, and she says she's known multiple girls that he has fucked over. Like she's not bringing this about, Georgia being her friend. And so we do see them eventually make bygones, but it was a whole thing. It was, and I agreed with Kaz on this. This is not the first time he did it during his own season. This is not new. He sat with Kaz.
What? I'm like, Gabby, stay away from this loser.
He sat with Kaz last season, using her as like, and I mean, I get they're both Scorpios, so sometimes that is
right.
What like sometimes Scorpios like that energy, but
they did have a bit of a banter vibe, like they did.
Yeah, but it felt kind of also like he was just like ogling her body a lot more than trying to get her to know her as a person. It was icky. So we do see Curtis and Ekin chat, and they were really happy with their choice. They also, she's sitting there making different voices for him, and he's like running away pretending, and then they talk food, and then like, see, these are my type of people. And we do know that Ekin is a big foodie. She had a whole like thing with that man. Where they went and they tried food and made food and whatever. They had like a little spin off on it. So we, Curtis was giving that back to her, and they agreed on some food choices. So I mean, nice
I
fun.
still haven't tried a Turkish delight yet. So
please, it's disgusting. Don't do it.
I feel like it would taste like perfume, but I don't know, like a chewy perfume.
Yes. It tastes like perfume. It's great. We do see Kaz and Luca chat, and he mentioned that he mentions to Kaz that Liv dated his friend, and he's having a hard time ignoring it. And I'm just like, why are you telling Kaz this? Because you just told Olivia you were good with y'all being coupled up. What happened?
Right.
So we do see Scott. He's happy. He's still with India. She's happy that she's with him because she swore he was the one getting chose. He's no, like I didn't want her. I want you.
Right.
What are you talking about? And then the Islanders.
But she's boring.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
But it's gorgeous. But I'm just saying, like I wanted her
boring?
to be. I wanted her to have more personality, and she.
India. So we do see the Islanders play a game, and it was a card game, and Curtis licks the Islander, who's the total package, and he licks India. Ekin didn't seem to like that.
I mean, that's not the right decision, Curtis. But like, okay.
Okay. Scott kissed 3 Islanders. He kissed India, Olivia, and Kaz, and he gives his 10 to India. And Kaz said, Scott, you know that my kiss was the 10. I don't know what you're talking about. But
Probably.
yeah, I think so too. Nas who plays the most game. He said, I think we're all here like to find love, really. And so they're like, so just kiss who you want to kiss. So he does kiss Catherine. And she gives it an 8.5. Which I was actually shocked at.
Yeah, I mean, what if this has the Serena Cordell effect? Because remember when they did the blindfold challenge and they kissed properly for the first time?
Yeah.
She got a little fanny flutters, I'm assuming. And like it was kind of from then she actually was seeing him as more of like a relationship and maybe a partner. So maybe now that they've had a good kiss, maybe that's actually opened the door for them. But I still just am annoyed that they just automatically put them
together. Well, this was my thing. Why Nas was always my backup for Kaz, and this is because he is a Pisces and Kaz is a Cancer. So water and water.
You talking about Catherine?
Yeah, Catherine.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I said Kaz? Yeah, Catherine. Yeah, Kaz was my number 1 for him. Only because I think he would have been. She has more of an Eva look to me. Yeah, like so. I was saying maybe he would go for her, but he didn't. He hasn't seemed to be going for her at all.
For anybody.
So,
really?
Yeah, for anybody, to be fair. So I was like, oh, like maybe they could start off as friends and develop develop something going into. And he said he's a slow burner, so. So we'll see. Luca 3-way kisses Kaz and India. Olivia biggest flirt Scott. Ronnie 3 sexiest Islanders. He chooses Elma, Ekin, and Kaz and kisses all 3. Kaz plank contest with her biggest competition is Ekin, and she wins. Marcel sexy dances with Catherine. She liked it. She said that's the first time she's danced so intimately with someone, which makes sense. She's only like 23, right? So, I mean,
maybe 24 now.
Yeah. I don't see many people like intimately dance nowadays. Like back in the day, I feel like
they don't do it. They
don't do it now.
At the club, they all separated. Don't nobody.
Yeah.
What? Like even I remember in grade 7 at like a birthday party, we would slow dance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I'm talking about even at the skating rink, you couple skate and like. Everything was just like they don't even halfway talk to each other. They're actually on one side. I mean, you should.
On the other side, yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Mm-hmm. Like the last few songs at a club before the club closes, isn't it
the slow ones?
Yeah, is it? They don't do that anymore.
I don't think so.
No, not in any club that I've been at lately.
That used to be the thing because now you're trying to get the number, you're trying to hurry up the night ending, you're trying to get who you go with, who go.
Everything's on Raw. Yeah. Everything's on Raw. Yeah.
I'm like mindful right now.
Silent parties, so people not even listening to the same doggone song. It's crazy.
But like that's like I really like that because it's always like the songs that you really want to hear. Come on, like yeah. Okay, that's really sad. I love the slow dancing at the end of the night.
I know.
Ekin faked orgasmed Curtis, which I was kind of funny. Gabby kissed who friends would warn you about, and she kisses Casey, which she wanted to kiss, but also, yes, they would still warn you about. Curtis seductively kisses the islander next to you, which seductively neck kiss the islander next to you to the left, and he does it to Ekin, and it was kind of sensual, and she really actually liked it. And I was actually shocked.
I mean, neck kisses are, you can't go wrong, I don't think.
No,
Unless you really don't like the person.
Correct. That's the only time you can go.
You're just like, get out of here.
Or if it's very slobby, like, just a lot of, it's like, because you gotta use your tongue, but if it's like, just wet too long. Okay. But best neck kiss still goes to Serena Cordell. And if you go on my TikTok, I made a whole edit of their compilation of those two neck kisses. It was sexy as hell. So much so that TikTok is like, we cannot share this because it's practically porn. So Kaz and Curtis chat, and she's slightly disappointed. Curtis says, well, it's so far so good kind of with Ekin. She says, yeah, she sees that, but she's going to chat to Luca. Gabby likes Casey for some reason. Kaz tells Olivia what Luca said about her, and Olivia cries. And it's like, yes, go with actress. No, I really do think that she was upset. And she's like, but he hasn't told me. And so Luca is telling the boys now that he only sees her as a friend because he's like, she dated my friend. And then they're all looking over, and because he's talking about it, they're like, is she crying? Does it look like she's crying? And he's like, wait. And they're like, he's like, do you think she knows? And they're like, can you go over and talk to her?
Thank you. You're telling everybody but her. Now that, I mean, I just didn't understand that. You're telling everybody but her.
Yeah. So he comes over and she tells him why she's upset. She's like, I thought we were getting to know each other. You didn't tell me you had a concern about your friend dating me. I thought we were I actually liked you. I thought we were going to actually get to know each other. And he's like, well, I'm having a hard time. Like, we are. It's not. I'm not being serious. But why? Like, I was like, all right, Luca. I was like, all right, just we're not going to. You just give it up. You're not going to get. So then he kind of tries to allude that he's still going to get to know her, and I'm like, but you're not. Anyway, so Kat and Naz talk, and they talk about their kiss, and they agree that it was really good. Kat says she was surprised, and she also says she wished it was longer. Ekin goes to the terrace with Curtis, and they chat again, and they kiss. And she comes back down and tells the girls, not knowing Kaz is under the day bed covers.
Girl, she just did not know. I was like, oh my goodness.
I was like, that's just sad. Like, so she's like, oh, Kaz, I didn't see you there. Well, how is the kid? I was like, this has started like a whole thing between Kaz and Ekin-Su. This is the competition for the rest of this time here, right? And so she's like, no, it's good. Sorry about that. Blah 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 blah. I was like, all right, yeah.
It's like Battle of the It Girls. Like many of them are like the ones that are always top dog, always chosen, always like most of them came in as bombshells. So like they have that same energy that Ekin-Su has, but
Kaz was a toxic girl, right? Which is even worse because your job is to go in there and pull some.
Got in there.
And she got in. And she got in.
She got in.
So Curtis and Ekin chat again the next day, and they do say they like each other. Which, he was still kind of telling Kaz like maybe, but I was like, guy, you're not going back to Kaz unless Ekin dumps you. I just don't see it.
Right.
Gabby and Casey chat, and they both are really interested in each other. Kaz and Curtis chat again. And I think this is when they decided, yeah, like it's just not going to be a no-go. And then Luca and Olivia check in, and she says, you know, if is it, we're going to talk to each other. He's like, yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be a thing. And she's like, okay, good to know. We still friends. I don't hate you.
Right.
I'll just go for others. I'll open myself up to some other people. And so we do see Kaz and Ronnie chat, and she tells him she's interested in him. And we do see Marcel and Olivia chat, and they talk about his family life and what he's looking for, and they seem to both be very interested in each other. And I agree with Chantel that I think it's just a safe vibe, personally.
Yeah.
Safe.
Personally. Elma and Kaz chat because Kaz tells Elma, you know, I like Ronnie. I think I want to talk to him and see if there's something there. And she said, no, that's fine. And, you know, go ahead, do what we're both in here for ourselves. Go ahead and do what you want to do. So nighttime comes, and they ask Kat if she liked her kiss with Naz, and she said she did. And they asked would she kiss Naz again, and she says yes. We do hear, though, that Naz says that he's a slow burner and that he wouldn't want to.
I always wonder if slow burner is code for I'm just not that into you.
Right.
I don't want to move too quickly because
apparently there's only been one slow burner in this entire Love Island universe that has actually been a slow burner.
Who is that again?
That is Serena.
Oh, right. Well, even so, like she was a slow burner, but then she did work, it did, actualize. But
yeah.
I think she wasn't necessarily into him in the very beginning, like, you know what I mean? And then like to have that kiss, and then it opened her eyes, and then she kind of like, you know what I mean?
I think she was into him. She was fighting it a lot because they said there was a lot of flirting that we didn't see, that they got edited out. Because even like when they kissed and then she had to go kiss somebody else, she chose Coy. He was mad. He was mad because they had been flirting back and forth, but he wasn't mad when she didn't choose him because he knew what he wanted, right? But yeah, I do think that she liked him, but I do think that it takes her a bit to warm up. And then she was just she was just throwing everything at him to find something to run. Yeah. But we see she didn't do that. She didn't go running and kissing a whole bunch of other people otherwise anyway. So, you know, so there is people who slow burn people. I know this, but
I just get the vibe that Naz just isn't that into her. Like, that's just the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, I don't know. So again, I said that for right now, I think it's good because I think that even if they don't find anything with each other, I think they would have a really good friendship off of the show.
Right.
So again, they're not really sending in any options for either one of them. They want to pretend that they send Tina for him, but we know they didn't. Jessica says, one, shout out to Serena, the true slow burner. Then Jessica also says, Naz may be a slow burner, but not this slow. We didn't even see little things from Naz, like holding her hand or putting his hand on the... Actually, that's not true. I will say one of the episodes, I did see them sitting in the back, and he was, like, holding her hand.
Oh, I haven't been looking in the background for the...
Yeah. I forget which episode, I forget which episode, but they were sitting in the back on one of the day beds, and somebody else was, like, in the foreground, like, on the bean bags, and I did see that. I will give him that. So we do see Scott and India kiss again. Ronnie and Alma kiss again. They part. And then Kaz asks Ronnie if they could chat. And let's go chat in the secret garden. And so they go to the secret garden, and everybody's looking at them going to the secret garden. Elma comes back from going, I guess, to the restroom or whatever, and everybody's like, oh my God, Elma, Kat just took Ronnie to the secret garden. Especially Ekin, of course.
Ekin's such a shit disturber.
Yeah, she's the producer's pot stirrer, right? She's producing this show for the producers. So we do see in the secret garden they're chatting, and at this point, they both agree to kiss. And so,
it's like period.
yeah. So Kaz and Ronnie continue kissing. And
I
Luca,
thought that their kiss was better than him and Elma, personally.
really?
Well, it could be because I was watching all this on 2X, so like it looked like a better rhythm.
So it did look like a better rhythm. Like Elma will say, like the kiss was like a washing machine. What did you call it? Washing machine.
She said that their kiss was shit, the first one, which is why they did the second one.
Right. She said it was much better.
And she said it was much better.
And I think Kaz was much better, personally. But
I didn't kiss her. It seems like I think she's been working her way pretty much with most of the guys, right? So I mean, can't hate on it. Luca chats to Gabby, and then Casey comes and pulls her, and they go up to the terrace, and then they chat and kiss. And I was like, listen, they're all kissing. I guess this is the thing of having an older cast. They're all not afraid to make out at this point.
Right.
At this point, Kaz and Ronnie are still kissing in the secret garden. And I'm like, are y'all gonna stop? They stop. They come out of the secret garden, and literally everybody could tell that they kissed. Like, Becky's like, to Elma, look at him. And she's like, he is bright red. Why is he bright red?
He was pot staring. Do you hear me? Like pot staring.
It causes a complete stir. Kaz tells Elma, she did tell him in the secret garden she was going to tell Elma. And Ronnie tells the boys. Luca's dying laughing, which is also a reason why I need him off the show. I'm like, why are you laughing? This is funny. Somebody's going to get hurt.
It was about to be a shitstorm. He knew it. He was like, yep.
So then Ronnie goes and apologizes because they're like, you're in trouble. She just told her. And she's like, well, she said she was going to tell her. But then he goes over and apologizes to Elma. But she cries. She's upset. And I think it wasn't the act. It was just the fact that they had just kissed.
Yes.
They went to the secret garden and kissed.
And then Ronnie had said he wasn't into Kaz. Like she had mentioned something about Kaz. And he was like, no, I don't really see it for her like that. Like, basically, that's what he was saying. And then he goes to see Garden and kisses her. And it's not even been 10 minutes. Everybody says it wasn't even 10 minutes. So it was like.
Yeah, definitely the speed, the swiftness of this new kiss would be a little bit unsettling. But I think she may have blown it way out of proportion. It's still, day 3? Like, I get it. You did just kiss, and it's a little bit disrespectful to go and kiss somebody else when it looks like you're into me. But could she play it a little bit cooler?
Yeah,
I think it's have to pull him 10 minutes after. Like, why did she have to pull him right then?
I'm thinking it has to be producer stuff.
I was gonna say, are you paying attention? It could have been like. She said she wanted to talk to Ronnie that night because they have to tell the producers that they want to talk to certain people. And the producer's like, hey, Kaz, knowing that he just kissed her.
Now's your time to go talk to him.
And why don't y'all do it in the secret garden so we can get it, really a nice, good shot of it?
Well, and the secret garden is only open to people that are in other couples, right? So
yes. So we see that Marcel and Gabby come to a nice understanding, which Chantel doesn't totally believe.
I do they want to be friends, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a kiss happens or a cuddle, and
and it goes from there. Jessica points out something good. I'm sorry, I can't feel that bad for anyone who enters Ronnie. He is from last season. They have been enough time to him to say he's changed, and you get what you're getting for Ronnie. Yeah, I mean, Turbo is going to Turbo.
And I guess he hasn't given enough time. I'm not trying to hair shame, but he hatfishes us all the time, and then you see him in the night cam, and it's like. It's a different person. And he needs to just go to Turkey and get a transplant and call it a day, because it's just not
cracking me up.
I will say this. At some point, because the next morning, like Kaz and Elmer chat. They get into a whole argument about the kissing, and I realized it's because they're best friends, right, outside the villa, or really, really good friends. And at some point, it just doesn't. It's not about Ronnie anymore because they're like even Elmer said, we're fucking cursing each other out over Ronnie Bit. Like, like this is ridiculous,
Right.
Like
I
at
think
this point, it's not.
you're my friend. Why would you?
Yeah, it wasn't about that. It was about the respect of the situation.
Absolutely.
Which is why I didn't write down most of the conversation other than that part where she was like, we're literally going at it over Ronnie Bit. What are we doing here? So we do see Elma and Ronnie chat, and they, he's like, I'm so sorry. Like he had told the boys, I'm gonna apologize one more time, but I really we're not in a couple, like we're not closed off, so it's kind of not even like he's saying like, I'm gonna apologize because I understand the way I did it was incorrect, right? Because even Nas had to say that to him. But also, we're not closed off. We're not in a boyfriend and girlfriend situation, so I kind of also didn't do anything wrong, and also fair. So we do see they get a text for a blazer party. They all get ready to get dressed for the night, and we see Catherine is chatting, I forget to who, about Nas. I think it might have been Olivia. Her and Olivia apparently are friends off of the show, which is weird to me, but apparently. But Catherine is also very good friends with everybody because she's a sweet girl. Mm-hmm. And so she does say that she likes her coupling with Nas, but he does not compliment her enough. And I was like, ooh, don't make me have to curse you out, Nas. Don't make me have to cuss you out. And so she gets a text. Oh, she says, but though if it continues, she will say something. Yeah. Because she's not playing that. But she does get a text that there will be a recoupling and the boys have to pick. And we do see that Casey gets to pick first as the newest Islander, and he picks Gabby. Then Scott picks India. Curtis again picks Ekin-Su. Luca picks who is it? Luca picked Kaz last. So who was it? I think it was Nas. Oh, Olivia. Marcel picked Olivia. Nas picked Catherine, and then Ronnie picked Elma, and
Luca picked Kaz.
Then Luca picked Kaz. So, because I was like, I thought maybe Nas, if he really did like Kaz, maybe he would go for her. But at that point, I'm just like, oh, so maybe he doesn't even like Kaz either. I don't know what Nas likes at this point. Maybe his type hasn't walked in. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Jessica says Kath and Olivia went on a brand trip together, and I think they got close. Casey was there too. That makes absolute sense. Okay. So we do see in episode 5. Ronnie reconciles with Elma, basically telling her, I picked you because I really do want to keep getting to know you. And she, kind of Harriets it all and falls for it again. And
exactly.
We're back good. Curtis and Ekin are happy in their coupling. She loves that he's not intimidated by her. And Elma and Kaz again have a conversation, and they do finally reconcile that, they do not want this to blow up their outside personal relationship. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be fighting over the same man. And Elma's like, I don't want you to not go for what you want. This is your journey too. But it felt icky the way it was done, and that maybe you did it as a shot to me. And we know that Ekin has been stirring the pot and telling her, like, don't let, yeah. So, we do see Catherine and Nas chat about their connection. I will say the little speech he gave about her was very, very good.
It was nice. Yes,
yeah.
It was nice.
And they kiss again on the terrace. And then Marcel.
I like her in that purple. I like her with
oh my God. That and the pink cat suit that she was wearing the night before. Excellent. I love everything Cat has been wearing this last few days. And we do see then Marcel and Olivia come up to the terrace and interrupt them, and they're like, did you kiss? And they're like, we're not telling. And are you coming here to kiss? And they're like, maybe. And then I says, yes, we kissed. And I says, yeah, we kissed. And we know that he got like one of those little burning kisses because she had lip plumper on.
Oh no, he was like, what is burning my lips?
So yes, they go on the terrace and they kiss, and then we go to the next morning, and they Ronnie and Kaz chat, and they kind of basically separate, and because she doesn't want to mess up her friendship with Elma, and they get a text, Luca, Scott, and Nas, you're to go on a date with a potential ex. And we see they're all kind of freaking out because they all have exes from the show. We heard Luca say if his ex Gemma came on the show, he would leave. And I was like, please be Gemma. Gemma. Scott didn't know who could it be, but he's like, is it Katie? I don't know. We already know Katie's already been on the show prior to this, but supposedly she's in another relationship. I think it might have been the same person she was in a relationship right after the island, that she was still in the relationship right before the island, but who knows? And then, Nas was just like, is it Eva? Like, because that's his only real ex. So he's like, do I want that? So they go on a date, and it is Tina from season 2. And
I don't even remember her, which
nobody seems to remember her. I had to look it up because I was asking, who is this? Who is this? Nobody seemed to know. Nobody seemed to know.
Her. There's like heavy hitters on that season though. Like, she got lost in the fold there for sure, but I don't remember her at all.
Yeah, so apparently she was a bomb, came in. Scott was coupled up with Katie. At that point, him and Katie were like gangbusters.
They were always like that, but
they came back from their date. He was holding her hand, and Katie cussed her out. He basically cut it off right then and there, focused on Katie. She went after somebody else, but got dumped. It was weird because they kept saying an iconic bombshell, so we're all like, who is this person? And then they show her face, and it's like, who is this person? And I thought it was just me because I've never seen season 2, but then everybody else who I know have watched the show is like, I don't know who this girl is.
I need to maybe see if she has an old picture of her, because I just don't remember her at all.
She looks totally different in her original picture, to be fair. So I don't know.
She would never stand up to greet them people on that date.
Oh, she did not. Yeah.
And then that orange juice, I'm like, they're not even making mimosas, just straight orange juice. But anyways, her date.
Jessica says Scott must have been very different back then. I cannot imagine him with Katie. I mean, I can imagine it because Katie seems the type of person to run a Scott, in my opinion. But I mean, he's also way older, so. But you never know. So first date was Luca. I'm sitting there watching the date, and I'm like, he's saying, "Oh, I'm really excited," and I saw nothing. Nada. Next was Nas, and he was just relieved it wasn't Eva.
I know.
And then they both found out they were Pisces, born within a day of each other. I was like, okay, they'll be friends. I didn't see anything in that either. And then it was Scott. And I was like, oh, Scott's going to go for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, very clear. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, I can't believe it's you. Oh, my God. I feel like this. He felt like this was a misconnection. He didn't get to try the last time. Right. And he was excited that she came back. And I was like, oh, he about to dump India. Damn.
I know. I felt it too. I felt it immediately in the date. I was like, that's when I knew he was using India for a shield for real. Because I was like, as soon as this one come back, he back like India just a friend. Like, I'm going to, go for her.
I mean, I don't know what India's like to be around, but I find that she's so much more gorgeous and feminine and womanly. Like, I just feel like she's more the whole package to me than Tina. But I'm not with them. But yeah, I would be more interested in India, I would think, than Tina.
Yeah, personally.
But
he likes blonde. So if you listen to the Morning After pod, Alex from his season was on there for this week with India and
Dr.
Amy.
Alex?
Yeah, I think so. And he's married to the person he met on the show, and they have one child. Is that the same person?
Oh, Alex and Olivia. No, different
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. Okay. So
One Alex cut for tattoos. Hot.
Yeah. And it's fun, like that. It was a good vibe because like he's with his person from off the show. India's with her person from off the show, but Amy's not. But her ex is on the show, right? But it was a good vibe this week. So if you haven't watched those, watch those. But Alex was like, at first he's like wasn't sure about he's like kind of what somebody else said, like, I don't know if anything's gonna happen with him in India. They have been friends for a very, very long time. But he said he was very excited when Tina came in because Tina apparently was best friends with his wife, and so she was in their bridal party. And but he also was like, no, he's like, Scott's gonna go for her because I feel like he will feel like he didn't get the chance the last time, and also she is more of his type. She's blonde, petite, way more of his type. So I was like, damn, that's crazy. So we do see Gabby tells Kaz not to count out Luca, just to give it a chance. And I'm like, I guess, Cass, you got to do what you got to do at this point.
I don't want Cass to be just like desperado because these guys are all losers. You know?
Yeah. Well, somebody was saying, I keep seeing a lot of people saying they think that Cass is not getting the love because of her short haircut. And I'm like, but she looks sexy as fuck with it. I've seen her with a long hair.
But men do prefer long
But
hair.
Men like hair.
I'm wondering why she cut it off. Was it like for a modeling thing?
I think
or was she getting drug tested?
I don't know. But I think it was part of her, like, liberation.
That was shady.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not even. It's true, though. People do shave their heads when they're going to get a drug test. That's really why Brittany did it.
But she was in prison in Dubai. Maybe she had to cut her hair. Who knows? You just never know. Like, I don't know. But she kind of made it.
Gorgeous. Absolutely.
Yeah,
from like, the female gaze.
Yeah.
Like, you even hear Curtis say, I saw your short hair and I didn't think I was going to like it, but I do.
But I
Which
do.
means that, like, he'd prefer you with long hair, but this doesn't look bad. That's how I interpreted it.
Exactly.
So I do think that if she had her long hair, she would have more success in this dating world. It's too edgy for these like.
Ari said from what I saw, she cut it up for charity and raised $30,000 for cancer patients.
I'm sorry.
That's so nice.
I mean, maybe it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and she's like, okay, yeah, no.
Oh, that is so sweet, though. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, how dare they? So we do see Gabby and Casey. They're still very into each other. And she's not worried about the bombshell that's gonna walk in. I was like, you might want to start worrying. Tina walks in, and Casey announces, "Oh my god, I slept with her." And I said, "And so when?" Cass said, "Your type was Love Island girls, and you gave her shit for it."
And the first one that walks in the door, you've already banged.
And you already just yell it out to the guys. Like, you don't even wait till y'all, like, in the room and the girls are away and you whisper or something. You, like, just, oh, my God, I slept with her. And then when what's-her-name confronts you about it, she says, yeah, I heard you. He's like, how you hear me? Who told you?
I was behind you.
Right.
Oh, no, I said it to Ronnie. She's like, I was behind you.
I know that we're almost done, but I do have to leave, ladies. So it was nice catching up on the season with you guys. Finish up, and I'll listen to you guys while I'm on my way to my event.
Awesome. Have fun.
Take care, guys. Take care, everybody. Bye.
So, yes, we're going to wrap up. We don't have that much, but Scott says, though, he feels he owes it to Tina to get to know her. And he tells this to the boys. Gabby chats with Casey about sleeping with Tina. And we do see Tina talk to the girls, and they're asking her, well, who did you like? Blah blah blah. She's really into Scott. She's like, she's like, he's handsome, and again, it does feel like for both of them a missed connection. And so we do see, though, she said, she hasn't made her decision. But at this point, between whatever they're all talking about, we see in this a little bit of off-put, because Scott's really not talking to her. Tina's not really kind of saying, is she going to go for Scott? India's not sure what's going to happen, but she realizes that Scott might be into Tina a lot.
Right.
And then we hear Scott say, well, I was kind of hoping that she would pull me for a chat. Meanwhile, she's gone up to the makeup room, and I was like,
doing her makeup. But this is my whole thing. Why do men keep thinking that the women have to come to them?
I don't know. On Love Island, we went through this last All-Star season. I think it was last All-Star season, or I think it was either last All-Star season. Yes, that me and Chantel had a conversation and said, why aren't the guys going for the girls? Why are they not like are they worried about getting eliminated, or what is the issue here? Tell me you want me.
This is the new era of how men are. They act like they can't approach women, and it's very disturbing.
It's absolutely disturbing. So yeah, it's actually very frustrating to watch. These are grown ass men, people. This is what we have to deal with dating straight men, and
I know.
It is frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
And so it's like he's sitting there waiting for Tina to go for a chat, but she's just like if you want to talk to me, talk to her. Like I couldn't. So that is where the episode 5 ended, and that is where we're going to end. As I said earlier, so Miss T Joy only has access to the Peacock version, so we're only chatting about week 1, which is Monday to Friday. And so we will continue chatting. Again, we'll figure out another day to catch up on the next few episodes as well. But let me see some of your comments really quickly. Jessica says, I think Scott wanted her to pull him so he get away with saying, I didn't pull her to his original partner. He's trying to make sense.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Man, that makes absolute sense. Dreadful Ruby says, I hope they bring in some decent male bombshells. The guys are giving me nothing. I agree. Ari says, to me, Luca is the most boring guy so far. I ask myself why he went on the show each episode. And I agree, because I'm sitting here like, Luca, what is it that you're actually looking for? Because we see, I think in the next episode, they're playing a game, and he is like, basically like, he don't want none of the girls. And I'm just like, I want to throw something at his, like, I want to throw a slipper. Because, like, why are you here? Why are you wasting my time? Why? Just absolutely ridiculous. And Dreadful Ruby agrees. All the women are out of all the guys' league, in my opinion. Yes.
Very true. Very true.
And so the other thing I wanted to discuss about this show, stop trying to make season 9 and 11 happen. Why are all the bombshells? We got a press release from somewhere that says we would see international bombshells. Yeah. I thought I might see Rob from USA, because they thought Rob was in hiding, come to find out he had COVID.
He had COVID? Okay.
Yeah, so he couldn't go to Kayla's birthday party in New York. But I thought we would see, because in Australia that just happened, we saw some international Love Islanders came over. So USA, they went over to Australia and did the show. We thought we would be seeing some other Love Islanders doing this show. Stop trying to make season 9 and 11 happen. They are some of the worst casting ever on this. Both seasons bombed, and you know how badly they bombed? The UK allowed black people to win the show. Both seasons. So that is how badly they bombed because people tuned out. So, while I love both winners, and one's still together and engaged, about to be married August of 2025, the other couple is not together, but they still should have won. You can't tell me any different. I don't care that they're not together. I don't give a damn. The woman decided absolutely deserved her win. And if that meant yes, and if that meant that she had to win with Josh, I'll take it. So
who won 9? Who are you talking
about? Kai and Sanam.
Oh, are they the ones that just announced they had that paper and it came?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. They just
okay.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we got the right winners, in my opinion, for both seasons. But I'm absolutely tired of them bringing in more cast members from the show. We do see more of those. That season is coming in, and I'm just over that season. CJ says, I heard that Montel is coming on as a bombshell, and really, why? I don't know, because he doesn't like black women. And again, who's he going for? Some white women, because he could have had Catherine their original season 10, right. And he did not choose her. So again, I don't know. He was mad that she was with a white guy, and then he chose a white girl. So I don't
exactly.
And if he wanted her off the show, he could have tried to put it in.
Exactly.
Ari says, I saw that one of the episodes this week was the lowest rated episode in Love Island UK season, and Traders didn't air that night, so no competition for viewers. They need to change something soon. Yes, they need to bring in more better bombs, more color. It's looking like color in there. And I'm going to say, if you're going to bring in somebody from season 9, where's Shaq and Tanya? They're exes right now. I would rather watch them either work through not being exes, or work out their problems, or date other people.
They should definitely come in.
If you're going to send in people from season 9, please and thank you.
They should definitely put them in.
But on that note, guys, Ari agrees. That's what I said. Bring in Shaq and Tanya. That's all we're asking. They need to shake something up. So on that note, guys, thank you for joining us. And please, if you can, Chantel's not here, but you can follow her on Twitter and Shan_Fran. On Instagram as ShanFranFran, or on YouTube at Reality Realness. She and I and Miss TJ will be doing The Bachelor sometime starting next week as well, Grand season. So we will be watching. Lots of drama going on in Bachelor Nation. I'm sure we'll touch on that show. And you can follow Miss TJ at Miss TJ on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky,
yeah.
Yes.
and YouTube.
And as always, you can follow me on Entertainment in Color everywhere. I also have a Patreon. I did a cast assessment for Love Island All-Stars. I did live watch Love Island All-Stars episode 1 on there. And I'm going to be throwing some other things on there, some like little fun things on Patreon. So follow me, subscribe to my Patreon. I have 2 tiers. I think one is $5 and one is $8. $5 is like you get to watch everything as it happens, and $8 you get to live chat with me while things are happening. So go take a look and get some exclusive content before it airs on the other tier. So as well as, follow me everywhere. I'm trying to kind of reorganize some of my content. Unfortunately, I'm not getting PR for Love Island All-Stars. They won't answer my emails. So either pray that they do so I can get some rumors before they air. Otherwise, right now the season, there ain't no big spoilers going on anyway. So we know most of the bombs that are coming in, and I can't stand them. CJ points out, Catherine is the reason why I watch. Unfortunately, she doesn't get airtime, and I'm losing interest, but I enjoy your reviews. Thank you, CJ. I love you.
No, I agree. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because I feel like when the little bit of conversation we saw, even with Nas and Catherine, and we don't feel like they're there yet, but those were some of the most interesting conversations that we saw in here. I cut out an entire episode because all it was Elma and Kaz going back and Ronnie going back and forth about the same thing. And again, I did prefer that to the Jess Harriet of it all, but it was very similar to what we've already seen with him in season 11. And again, you said that you grew, you're looking for something serious, just like Casey, but it doesn't feel like that. Like, at least if you're going to try to snow me good.
Right.
I tell you all the time, I'm easily snowable. I love. I'm taking any love. Thank you and good night. So on that note, we will be back for more episodes once we watch them. And if you follow me on Twitter, I live tweet the show, so you can get some of my thoughts while the actual show is going on UK time. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.